If you are asking the income of a person, we cannot directly ask them, what is your income? So we give them various options, whether the income is between 25,000 to 30,000 or 30,000 to 40,000, 15 to 20. With the help of this paired comparison method, we will be able to just compare the two of the variables with each other. And if we say that when we are having a comparison of C and A, and C is more important. Hello everyone, I am Purnima, faculty in the Department of Commerce and Management, Vidhyaashram First Grade College, Temple of Excellence, MYSURU. I welcome you all to this session in this Unit 3, Session 2. Let's have a look at what are the scaling techniques in business. So, the companies use different methods to assess customer satisfaction, happiness, and other critical aspects of the sales process. Large organizations often employ scaling techniques which measure consumer views in market research, polls, surveys, and questionnaires are just a few examples. Now, there are different ways in which the companies will use the different techniques to measure the customer satisfaction, happiness, and other critical aspects of the sales process. So, in market research, polls, surveys, and questionnaires are used. You can see here the primary scaling techniques here. So, we have the nominal scale, the ordinal scale, the interval scale, and the ratio scale. So, these are the different ways of measuring. Then, next, their role is to determine how customers feel about the particular product, what features they are looking for, or why they dislike a specific item. Brands can use this data to identify areas of improvement and develop better products. Now, these kind of information collection can be used by brands to see that they just know what the customer's pulse is, so that they can just assess what the customer is looking for and what are the modifications they can do in their products. So, various scaling techniques are used in business market research, and each has unique characteristics. Choosing one over the another depends on your budget and goals. So, the various scaling techniques are there. So, it all depends on the budget and the goals of the business. Again, in this, again, we have some more information on nominal scales. Nominal scales are the easiest to use but provide the lowest measurement level. Unlike the other techniques, they don't express any relationships or values between the variables. Researchers use them to determine the frequency count, such as the number of men and women who prefer a specific product, color, or size. So, the nominal scales are one of the easiest to use but provide the lowest measurement level. So, this is used to calculate the frequency of the use of the customers. For example, you can ask respondents whether they have black, brown, blonde, or grey hair. If you are selling hair care products, this information will provide insight into your target market. So, if you can ask the customer what is the color of the hair, so that information will help in the for the hair care products. Assuming that most of the customers have grey hair, you could develop a product that helps cover grey hairs and restores natural color. So, this kind of information, whatever is available, with the help of these information, we can always find a solution for the customers' problems. So, in case most of the customers have grey hairs, then we can always find a product that restores the natural color. Then next we have the interval scales. So, they are commonly used in commercial marketing research. They indicate the order as well as the differences between the variables. So, the interval scales, they just help in telling the order and differences between the variables. A distinctive feature of this method is that there is no absolute 0 point. Examples include opinion scales and attitude scales. So, the temperature, for instance, represents an interval scale. We can say that a temperature of 10 degrees Celsius is lower than one of 20 degrees Celsius. So, this is an interval scale where it is commonly used in marketing research. Then, the next one is, as a business owner, you can ask respondents to rate their satisfaction from 1 to 10, or you can ask them to start their income as 1,500 to 2,500, 2,500 to 4,500 and so on, which will give you a better understanding of their spending power. So, if you are asking the income of a person, we cannot directly ask them, what is your income? So, we give them various options, whether the income is between 25,000 to 30,000 or 30,000 to 40,000, 15 to 20. So, in this way, the customer, he will not feel shy to reveal his income. So, it is anywhere between 15 to 25 means it can be anywhere. So, it may be 20, 25, etc. So, he will be in a position to give a better answer. Then, next, ordinal scales. This scaling technique helps measure non-numeric concepts such as comfort, satisfaction, overall experience and more. A good example would be dissatisfied, satisfied, somehow satisfied or extremely satisfied. Respondents will tick the box that reflects their satisfaction level. Now, this ordinal satisfaction, they will be giving 4 options for a particular answer, and by the help of these 4 options, we will be able to assess the what is the comfort level, what is the qualitative aspect of that particular question. Then ordinally scales allow you to rank the variables you measure regarding which has less or more of the quality it represents. They don't indicate the magnitude of difference but only the relative position of the items. So, with the help of our ordinal scales, they don't indicate the magnitude of difference. So, they don't tell us what is the difference between satisfied, extremely satisfied, dissatisfied, extremely dissatisfied. They don't tell us, but then they only have a relative position of the items. Next, we have the comparative scales. As the name suggests, these scales allow respondents to compare various products or services. They are widely used in market research, offering valuable insights into customer preferences. For example, if you are planning to launch a new energy drink, you can ask the prospects whether they would like vanilla, citrus or berry flavor. So, this kind of a comparative scales, they allow the respondents to compare various products or services. So, they are widely used in the market. So, comparative scaling techniques measure how respondents interact with items as well as the individual difference in response tendencies. Companies can use this data to define their audience better and create products that address these needs and wants. So, this kind of a comparative scaling technique, it measures the respondents' interaction with items as well as the individual response tendencies. So, this will help the companies to address the needs and wants of the customers. Then next we have the ratio scales. They are the most comprehensive of all the scaling techniques because they measure the exact value of the responses. Additionally, they have a fixed origin or 0 points. Respondents can provide compelling information such as the annual household income, the amount spent on the last purchase, the time spent watching TV on a daily basis or more. From here, the researchers can apply various statistics like mode, frequency, range, standard deviation and variations. Now, these ratio scales, they are very helpful to the researchers because they give the exact number, so exact quantity. So, it gives information relating to the annual household income of the people, the amount spent on the last purchase, the time spent on watching TV, etc. So, with the help of the statistics, the researchers can calculate the mean, median and mode of these various statistics. Then, ratio scales, there are many other scaling techniques used in market research. For instance, you can use the unity sum gain technique when launching a new products or services. Company can also work with non-comparative scales such as line marking scales, continuous rating scales, semantic scales. Each has a different purpose and unique method of measurement. So, the ratio scales, there are many of them you can make use of, like the line marking scales, we have the continuous rating scales and the semantic scales. So, they can be used by the customers whenever they need. Then next one is the paired comparison method. So, it is a handy tool for decision making. It describes values and compares them to each other. It is often difficult to choose the best option when you have different ones that are far apart. So, it is a handy tool for decision making and it describes values and compares them to each other. So this kind of a paired comparison method is very, very helpful. So all the potential options are compared visually, leading to an overview that immediately shows the right decision. This makes it possible to compare the relative importance of opposing criteria in a simple way. So with the help of this paired comparison method, we will be able to just compare the two of the variables with each other, and then we can always assess the importance of one variable over the other, and in this way we can take the decisions. If there is no objective data available for making the decision, paired comparison can be a very handy tool. So this method is also known as the paired comparison method or pairwise comparison. So this kind of a paired comparison method is also useful where the data is not available relating to the subject, and as such when we have a relation between the two variables, it will be easy for the decision making purpose. Then next we have the priorities. Paired comparison method can be used in different situations. For example, when it is unclear which priorities are important or when evaluation priorities are subjective in nature. So paired comparison method can be used in different situations. So when we have a evaluation criteria, so it is also helps when potential options are competing with each other, because the most effective solution will be chosen in the end. It is easier to set priorities when there are no conflicting requirements. So this kind of a paired comparison method will help us to know what is the effective solution will be. So this will help us to understand what is the importance of one variable over the other, and in the end it will help in decision making. Then next, what are the steps to apply the paired comparison method? It is wise to use a large sheet of paper or a flip chart. Follow the steps below one by one for analysis to work best. So if you have to work with the paired comparison method, there are the 6 steps here. So let us see what are they. So step 1 is creating the table. Make a table with rows and columns and fill out the options that will be compared to one another in the first row and the first column, the headers of the rows and columns. So we have the table here. We have to create a table where we have different rows and columns. So this is the vertical lines we call as the columns, and the horizontal lines we call as the rows. Then the empty cells will stay empty for there. So, and there are 4 options. There are 4 rows and 4 columns and 16 cells. When there are 3 options, you have 3 rows and 3 columns. So when you have 4 options, you have 4 rows and 4 columns, whereas when there are 3 options, you have 3 rows and 3 columns. So then assigning the letters. So every option is now assigned a letter A, B, C, etc. The options are mentioned in the headers of the rows and columns, and each now has a letter so that the options can be properly compared to each other. So when we have these 4 options, then we have 4 columns and 4 rows. So when we have this A, B, C, D. So again A, B, C, D. So in this way we can write the A, B, C for each row and column and compare it with each other. Next is blocking the cells. So it is important to block out the cells in the table in which the same options overlap. Cells that contain a comparison that has been displayed earlier in the table also have to be blocked out. So every comparison should be made only once. So when we have made the comparison, so such cells should be blocked. For example, in this table we have a comparison of A, B, C, D. B, C, D. So if you have a comparison of B and B, it comes here, then B and C. So in this way we can see that those comparisons which are already known, that we have to block, and the comparison should be made only once. Then comparing the options. The cells that are left will now compare to the options in the rows to the options in the columns. The letter of the most important option will be noted. For example, when A is compared to C and C is more important option, a C will be written in that cell. So when we are just noting, making a comparison of the cells, and we are having a comparison of A, B, C, etc. And if we see that when we are having a comparison of C and A, and C is more important, then we write C in that particular box. Next is the rating option. The difference in importance will now get a rating that will range, for example, from 0 to 3. That is too important, the difference. Then option 6, the listing results. The results are now consolidated by adding all values for each of the options in question. So these totals can be converted to percentages. Now, in this way, we can just add out all the listing the results. Now, the paired comparison, if you can see here, we have a table here. So, options A, B, C and also option A, B, C. So, to clarify a paired comparison, here is an option. Take a commercial company that has to make a choice between the different customer relation management systems. So, the CRM systems. So, we have A, B, C options here and also A, B, C. Now, A and A, comparison of A and A gets blurred. Comparison of B and B gets blurred. Comparison of C and C gets blurred. So, here when this is blocked, then you will have other options which are open for us. So, this will help in having a paired comparison method. Then the first option in a CRM system by a renowned brand. The second option is a CRM system that is connected to a cloud service. And the third option is that consists of various modules. So these options are assigned a letter and are put in headers of rows and columns. So in this first option is by a brand. Then second option is by a cloud service. Then the third option is that consists of various modules. So when you have these three options, so for each row and each column, we have these options 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So in this way, we can have a comparison. In step 3, a few cells are blocked, and in this example, 4 cells remain open. So if you can see here in the previous 1, 2, 3, these are there. Second 1, 2, 3, these are there. So they are open, whereas these are blocked here. So in this way, we can see that we can have a paired comparison in practice. So with this, we come to the end of this session. Hope you have all followed it. Thank you.